my
you
mom,
updated.
my mom has called the chief too, and apparently the mayor. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So I'm still trying to sort that
She
out.
left messages.
And I'm reaching out to some of like the legal observer groups, like the Lawyers Guild, the ACLU works with them too. I'm trying to figure out who was there and who saw something.
Keith was there filming. Keith Rose.
Okay.
But I don't know that he'd be able to share the video. He may be saving it for legal action.
He was there, I saw, but I don't know if he was there when it happened.
Oh yeah, he was filming. He was filming when Haiku was filming.
Right.
Haiku gets knocked down. I'm like, Keith, keep filming, because I'd already said, Haiku, keep filming. They attack Haiku. Keith, keep filming.
Do you know how I can get in touch with Keith?
KW Rose on Twitter.
Yeah, he doesn't follow me, so I don't know if I can send him a message, but I could just tweet at him maybe.
I might have his number. I'm not sure.
If you don't mind,
You're not streaming yet, are you? Oh, okay.
I started because you guys were talking.
Oh, okay. That's fine. I don't know what the legal observers wanted.
I'm just trying to find out who was there.
There is video. Oh yeah, there were people there. There was legal observers. There were other protesters. There were apparently 7 arrests. I knew of at least 3 others while I was in there. And so, my first tweet when I got out was like, free Haiku, Jerome, and Ebony, because they were still in there and they were trying to manipulate me. And they wanted to act like they were doing a favor for my mother, and that's not what was happening. There were 100 people waiting for me upstairs. They wanted people to leave. They wanted to get us out of there because they don't want 100 people upstairs. And when they first tried to process it, when they tell me they're trying to I had already asked 20 times what my charges were, along with the 20 times I asked for an ice pack. I'm sorry. I'm going on like 2 hours of sleep after not sleeping for 30 hours, so forgive me a little bit. But when they finally started processing me and telling me that they were charging me with assault, which is the most ludicrous thing, like people who know me would ever think that I've been a pacifist since birth. When I got beat up by other kids, I never hit them back because I was just confused that they didn't get taught about Cesar Chavez and not hitting people, and it's like completely foreign to me personally to hit somebody. There's just no concept. I have no concept of it. When people, I understand the concept of self-defense and can argue other people's right to self-defense. It's not something, when you learn about passive resistance and stuff when you're, a toddler, it gets ingrained pretty easily.
Tell me what you saw and what happened from your perspective.
Okay, well, there were protesters chalking on the sidewalk, in the parking lot. I didn't see the chalk being put on the building, but the fire department's right there. They got hoses. It's chalk. It washes right off. It's not spray paint. It wasn't permanent graffiti of any kind. It's chalk. It washes off. And apparently the other 7 arrests were for people chalking. Mine was failure to obey. There was no dispersal order. There were people came out of there were people that people not in uniform. We thought they were firemen not in uniform because they came out of the fire department and said that you all are going to jail, and and we're like, okay, that's not a dispersal order. You guys aren't dressed like police, so but we worked our way across the street, and I was filming the whole time. I wasn't even chalking. So I have the First Amendment right to videotape in public and videotape police. People were coming across the street, and then their police cars their SUVs just started swarming the anti-worm lot, and that's a private lot where protesters have permission to be. And so I got, I got all finished getting across the street on the sidewalk trying to film people being arrested in the Andy Worm lot. And the next thing I know, I'm on the ground in front of my groundmobile in the Andy Worm lot when I had been on the sidewalk in my wheelchair. And I didn't even know how I had gotten on the ground at first. Several witnesses, including my mother, saw an officer tip me from behind. So I didn't see it. I didn't even know how I ended up on the ground. But then another, officer, it may have been the same officer. I don't know. But he, came up and, grabbed the phone out of my phone holder. If his finger got snapped by the clip, he violated a federal restraining order and the First Amendment, stealing my phone. I did not hit him with my phone holder, but they confiscated it. They also confiscated my cord, my USB cord that connects to my battery, my external battery. So, and
So
they broke this monopod.
Your mom says that she saw an officer push you out of your chair or tilt you.
Tip me forward.
With hands or specifically how?
Well, my manual wheelchair. I usually use a manual wheelchair.
Okay, so the one over here. Okay.
That wheelchair over there.
Okay.
Yeah. You lift on the handles, it tips forward. It's actually, I've lost my balance in it by myself. I wasn't even, that's why I wasn't quite sure how I ended up on the ground, and thought maybe I, it hit something, or, something had happened. I wasn't even sure how it happened, but witnesses told me that an officer tipped me out of my chair.
And what did this officer look like? What was he wearing? Did he have a badge on?
Yeah, I mean, they all have that. It was very dark, and we were in the Andy Worm lot. It's very dark over there compared to the very lighted, parking lot at the Ferguson Police Department. So we're, it was very dark. It was a heavy set, white, middle-aged officer. I couldn't see very well, and I'm on the ground. He'd already, taken my phone. Tried to pull out my backup phone. That one got taken too. And the next thing I know, my face gets hit and my glasses flew 10 feet into the street. And there is no reason for that whatsoever.
Do you know who hit you?
No, I'm assuming, I personally, I got the feeling it was the same officer who took my phone, but hopefully, I'm sure the videos will show what happened exactly. I just don't have access to those videos because they may be being held for legal purposes, for future lawsuits that may have to be had, because the Ferguson Police Department doesn't seem to understand the Constitution.
And you said you did not hit an officer. You didn't.
No. That is like the most foreign concept to me ever. It's just not even a concept. They can claim it all they want. I would love to see them produce a video showing me doing anything of the sort. I dare them to.
Was there anyone else around in close proximity to you when this happened?
Once I don't know who was behind me and how soon they got up behind me. Once I was on the ground and got a bystander to give me my glasses back out of the street, I could see Haiku up here filming. Or no, wait a minute. It was Haiku. Wait a minute, let me think. I'm trying to make sure I get this straight, because the officer grabbed my phone. He took my other phone, and he said, "You're trying to assault," because he tried to falsely say I was trying to assault him. And at one point, he was like several feet away from me, like over here, and I was trying to hold on to my personal property that he was trying to steal. And we've seen police in videos do this before, when they've had beaten subjects and have them on the ground, and they make false statements for the benefit of the recording, because they know that there's cameras there. They're maybe not their own. I saw an officer with a body cam in the jail. I don't know if any of the ones on the parking lot have them.
Okay, that's what I was asking. But
I did see one on an officer in the jail.
But that, when you said there was sort of a back and forth with your phone, was that the first phone or the second phone?
No, it was the hand. No, he grabbed the phone out of the clay. It was just the hand, just my phone holder.
Okay.
Just the gooseneck phone holder that I had. I was trying to hold on to it because of my personal property. I was trying to steal it. He had no right. I had the First Amendment right to film, and he had no right to steal my equipment.
So that was the first
So,
phone.
he
Okay.
could have maybe charged me with resisting him stealing my stuff, but, I didn't get a resisting arrest charge.
So you leave, and then you were there for, I know it's hard to tell if you
No, I was there for quite a while until I demanded to know my charges 20 times. They wouldn't tell me what my charges were until they processed me several hours later.
Do you have any injuries?
Yeah, my face is swollen here. I went to the ER to make it because I have vascular Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. It's a connective tissue disorder that makes me very prone to internal bleeding, and my joints dislocate. And so, I didn't feel my jaw dislocate. The hit was more on the cheek as opposed to the jaw. But my jaw started hurting, so we went to make sure that I wasn't bleeding into it. The doctor didn't think so. It prescribed NSAIDs, anti-inflammatories, but he obviously heard of my condition, but was not aware that NSAIDs are contraindicated with it. But there's really, NSAIDs can be very dangerous. They can increase the risk of internal bleeding, which is what I'm trying to avoid in the first place. So I'm just putting up with some swelling right now. But, it's not much different than those pictures of Darren Wilson after he killed Mike Brown. I didn't kill anybody. I didn't even hit anybody. I would have felt no justification to respond violently, and I didn't. So but allegedly, Darren Wilson's alleged swollen face was justification to shoot Mike Brown dead in the street from 150 feet away.
So, and just for your purposes, Larry, do you mind showing me again where your chin is swollen?
It's right here in the cheek.
In the cheek bone. Okay. And do you know if it was? Is there any way to tell if it was a hand, if it was an elbow, or what?
I have no idea. I just felt my face. It was just my face. It didn't feel like a slap. It was just something hit my face. I don't know. It could have, It didn't. It was different than a slap. But it was something. It could have been a fist or boot, elbow. I have no idea. I couldn't see it. It just came out of nowhere.
Do you know if it was? Yeah, and it's hard if you didn't see it to know what the intention was.
And
if it was something that swung out, or if it was a strike. I'm wondering.
I don't know. I haven't seen the videos yet, but there's videos, so we'll find out the truth. But there was no reason for me to be on the ground in the first place. And there's no reason for them to interfere with my filming whatsoever. There's a reason the federal judge felt the need to grant a federal restraining order to prevent them from interfering with people filming them. They don't seem to understand.
So what do you think is next? The situation right now.
I don't know. I'm exhausted. I went 30 hours without sleep, and I've had like 2 hours of sleep today, and I'm exhausted. The Ferguson Police Department needs to be exposed for how brutal it is, because it wasn't just me. There were 7 other people. They viciously tackled Haiku to the ground while he was trying to film their assault on me. There was no excuse for that. And but what's very disturbing to me is that this happened on the 6-month anniversary of Mike Brown's death. We had just been in Canfield with his grandmother an hour before, and I wish her family can't heal when the focus of the story keeps getting put on Ferguson PD's abuse of the family's supporters. That's the same thing happened on August 9th.
And this was a vigil at Canfield last night, and then some of the people moved over to Ferguson.
Right.
Right.
They had a chalk party.
Right.
Dunn had chalk parties there plenty of times. There was no reason for them. They could have come out and given an actual dispersal order. They could have, they could have arrested people without tackling them to the ground if they really felt the need to violate constitutional rights last night. They could a dispersal order. They didn't have to, people would have left. Most of them probably would have. I don't think there was any intent for anyone to do civil disobedience last night. There may have been, but not the feeling I got. I certainly wasn't. I was filming. I was live streaming. And my stream did not archive because he grabbed my phone, and because my phone didn't shut off all the way, if my phone had actually died, it might have archived. There's a thing with Ustream. Sometimes if the phone dies, while streaming, it might archive, but it was still open the Ustream app was still open when I got my phone back, so it hadn't been saved, and there wasn't an option to be able to save it. And I can't find. I've got somebody who thinks there may be a way.